Hey, I'm Noggs, and this is Noggs House. Today we're going to talk about one of the most epic journeys in all of history, the Great Migration. This isn't about recent history. We're going way back to when our ancestors, modern humans like us, left Africa and spread to every corner of the planet. Get ready for an amazing story of adventure, survival, and incredible adaptation. To understand the Great Migration, we have to start where our species began, Africa. Homo sapiens, that's the scientific name for modern humans. Homo means human, and sapiens means wise, originated or first appeared in Africa approximately 200,000 to 300,000 years ago. But our ancestors didn't just wake up one day and decide to leave Africa. First, they spent a long time developing a crucial characteristic, an important quality called ecological flexibility. Ecological relates to environments and ecosystems, all the living and non-living things in an area. Flexibility means being able to adapt to different situations. Between 70,000 and 50,000 years ago, early humans honed, practiced, and perfected their ability to survive and thrive in a vast spectrum, wide range, of African habitats, from tropical forests to arid deserts. Arid means very dry. This foundational adaptability, the basic ability to adjust, wasn't just about physical endurance or being tough. It was about learning to understand and exploit, use and take advantage of diverse ecosystems. Think of this period as a training ground. Africa essentially equipped our ancestors with the necessary skills and genetic predispositions, inherited tendencies, that would prove invaluable, extremely useful, for the challenging environments they would encounter beyond the continent. Without this practice, adapting to different African environments, the subsequent or following global dispersal or spreading out would have been way less likely to succeed. Before the big migration that really populated the world, there were early attempts. There is compelling evidence or strong proof of earlier, less successful migrations out of Africa. These pioneer groups, first explorers, ventured forth or went out perhaps as far back as 100,000 to 120,000 years ago. One prominent or important route involved following the Nile River and crossing the Sinai Peninsula into the Levant, the area that's now Israel, Lebanon, and nearby regions. Archaeological sites, places where scientists dig up ancient remains, like Mislia, dating back 180,000 years, and Skul and Kafza, with human fossils, ancient bones turned to stone, aged 90,000 and 120,000 years, provide some of the oldest Homo sapiens remains found outside of Africa. These discoveries suggest intermittent occupations, people living there on and off, not continuously. While these earlier populations demonstrated the ability for outward movement, many of them likely went extinct, died out completely, or were reabsorbed, mixed back into other populations, possibly due to changing climatic conditions, weather and temperature patterns, or competition with other groups. Nonetheless, or even so, these early forays and attempts were critical because they showed an inherent drive or built-in desire for exploration. They also used natural land bridges, connections between continents that appeared when ocean levels were lower, that connected Africa to Eurasia, Europe, and Asia together. The most impactful wave of migration, the one that truly led to the global expansion or spreading of humanity, is widely believed to have commenced or started around 70,000 years ago. A primary pathway or main route for this major dispersal was the southern route. This route saw humans moving out of East Africa, likely crossing the narrow Bab el-Mandeb Strait, a strip of water, into the Arabian Peninsula, the area that's now Saudi Arabia and nearby countries. At that time, the Arabian Peninsula was not the arid landscape it largely is today. Instead, it featured ancient lakes and green corridors, paths with plants and water that made easier movement. From there, these migrating populations traced or followed the coastlines of Asia. This was a smart strategy that offered consistent or steady access to marine resources, food from the ocean like fish and shellfish. Archaeological evidence supports this path. Scientists have found stone tools resembling or looking like African Middle Stone Age technology in Yemen, approximately 70,000 to 80,000 years old, the United Arab Emirates, about 80,000 years old, and India, about 74,000 years old. Genetic studies, research looking at DNA, further confirm that populations following the southern route contributed significantly to, or made up a big part of, the ancestry or family history of present-day South and East Asians. This was a pivotal moment, turning point, in human dispersal. One of the most astonishing or surprising and impressive achievements of the Great Migration was the early colonization or settling of Sahul. Sahul was the ancient landmass comprising or made up of modern Australia and New Guinea. They were connected back then. Humans reached this distant continent between 65,000 and 50,000 years ago. This was an incredible feat or amazing accomplishment that demonstrates remarkable seafaring capabilities, the abilities to travel by sea, and navigational skills, knowing how to find your way. This migration was not simply an overland trek, journey on land, but involved multiple island-hopping journeys across significant stretches of open water in Southeast Asia. Think about how hard this was. They had to build boats, plan routes across the ocean, and navigate without any modern tools. The discovery of human remains at Lake Mungo in Australia, dating back approximately 40,000 to 42,000 years, provides direct evidence of their presence. There's also ancient rock art in Indonesia, potentially over 67,000 years old. Reaching Sahul required innovative or creative and new boat building, planning, and deep understanding of marine environments, ocean conditions. This pushed the boundaries or limits of what was previously thought possible for early Homo sapiens. Following the initial dispersals, or first spreading out, modern humans began to move into Europe, arriving around 40,000 to 45,000 years ago. This expansion was likely facilitated or helped by two main corridors or pathways, one along the Mediterranean coast and another from Turkey following the Danube River into Eastern Europe. This period saw significant interaction between incoming Homo sapiens and the resident or already living there Neanderthal populations. Neanderthals were another type of human that had adapted to Europe's colder climates for hundreds of thousands of years. While the exact nature of their encounters is still debated or argued by scientists, archaeological and genetic evidence indicates periods of coexistence, living at the same time in the same places. Cultural exchange, sharing ideas and methods, and even interbreeding, having babies together. In fact, a small percentage of Neanderthal DNA is found in most non-African modern human populations today, which means some of our ancestors had children with Neanderthals. Ultimately, Homo sapiens expanded throughout the continent, bringing new technologies and adaptations that eventually led to the replacements of the Neanderthal populations. Neanderthals died out and modern humans became the only humans in Europe. This marked a profound shift or big change in the demographic landscape who lived where of Europe. The colonization of the Americas represents the last major phase or stage of the global human migration. This epic journey occurred approximately 15,000 to 20,000 years ago when early humans crossed the Bering Land Bridge, a landmass that connected Siberia, part of Russia, to Alaska, part of the Americas, during periods of lower sea levels. From there, they rapidly spread south, colonizing both North and South America. Archaeological sites like Monte Verde in Chile, with evidence of human occupation, people living there, dating back around 14,500 years, suggest an even earlier presence in South America than scientists previously theorized or guessed upon evidence. Genetic studies have been instrumental, very important and helpful, in confirming a shared ancestry between indigenous American populations, the native people of the Americas, and groups from Siberia and East Asia, tracing their genetic signatures or unique DNA markers back to a common source. This final wave of migration brought humanity to every major continent, completing the ambitious, or bold and difficult global journey that began tens of thousands of years earlier in Africa. As humans ventured into vastly different environments, natural selection, the process where traits that help survival get passed on, spurred or caused remarkable biological adaptations, changes in the body. One of the most visible is the variation in skin pigmentation or skin color. In regions with less intense sunlight, lighter skin tones became more prevalent or more common, facilitating or helping with vitamin D synthesis, making vitamin D in the body, a critical advantage for health. You need sunlight to make vitamin D, so in places with less sun, lighter skin helps your body make enough. For colder environments, such as those encountered in Eurasia, genetic adaptations emerged or appeared to enhance or improve heat generation. A specific variant or version in the FTO gene, fat mass and obesity associated gene, for example, increased in frequency, became more common as populations moved out of Africa, likely boosting the body's heat production and providing a survival advantage. In arid regions, very dry places, populations like the Turkana in Kenya developed adaptations such as the STC1 gene, which helps kidneys conserve water by concentrating urine, making pee more concentrated so less water is lost. These diverse genetic changes highlight humanity's profound ability or amazing capability to biologically reshape itself to thrive in any climate. Beyond biological changes, Cultural and technological innovations, new ideas and inventions were equally, if not more, critical to human success during the Great Migration. Early humans developed increasingly sophisticated, complex and advanced stone tools and weapons, essential for hunting, gathering, and processing a wider range of food resources in new environments. The mastery of fire was transformative, changed everything. Fire provided warmth in colder climates, enabled the cooking of food, which improved digestion and nutrient absorption, taking in the good stuff from food, and offered protection from predators. In colder regions, advanced technological innovations included the creation of tailored clothing, fitted clothes made to fit your body from animal pelts and furs, provided crucial insulation, keeping warmth in. They also constructed shelters with hearths, fire pits for cooking and warmth, sometimes even using bones as fuel when wood wasn't available. Early humans even dug ice cellars into permafrost, permanently frozen ground, for food storage, like ancient refrigerators. These cultural advancements demonstrate our ancestors' ingenuity or cleverness and capacity for problem solving, allowing them to modify or change their behavior and environment to suit challenging new conditions. The cumulative impact or combined effect of all these adaptations made Homo sapiens the ultimate generalist, capable of conquering drastically different ecosystems. A generalist is an organism that can survive in many different environments, unlike a specialist that's only good at one thing. A key element of this generalist edge or advantage was dietary flexibility, allowing early humans to exploit a broader range of food sources in varied environments, from abundant game, animals to hunt, to diverse plant foods facilitated by stone tools. Crucially, or very importantly, increased ecological flexibility was intertwined or connected with significant social and cognitive advancements, improvements in thinking and social organization. The transmission of knowledge across generations, teaching kids what parents learned, cooperative behaviors, working together, and symbolic communication using symbols and language fostered and encouraged innovation. The cross-fertilization of cultures involving increased contact and exchange of ideas between different populations played a vital role. This exchange of methods, technologies, and strategies created a feedback loop cycle where each improvement leads to more improvements of learning and adaptation. Developing trade networks, systems for exchanging goods between groups, and complex social structures, organized societies, further enhanced their capacity to innovate and share, solidifying or making strong Homo sapiens' ability to not just survive, but thrive across every corner of the planet. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today at Nog's house. We followed an incredible journey from the African cradle where our species began, through early attempts to leave, major migrations along southern routes, the amazing voyage to Australia, the spread into Europe, and finally reaching the Americas. We've seen how biological adaptations like skin color changes and genetic mutations for cold resistance combined with groundbreaking cultural innovations like fire, clothing, and advanced tools to make humans the ultimate survivors. This epic journey didn't just populate the Earth, it created the incredible genetic and cultural diversity we see in humanity today. Pretty amazing, right? But our story isn't over yet. Next time we're going to talk about how Homo sapiens became the last hominid standing. Remember those Neanderthals we mentioned? There were actually several different types of humans living at the same time. So what happened to all of them? How did modern humans become the only human species left on Earth? I hope you'll come back and join me for that. See you next time.